If you can get over the misunderstandings, I do think that with the Empress here, there is a lot of potential. But you're the one that is going to have to make something happen here. So the way that you come into this, well, first of all, the underlying energy, the Seven of Pentacles. You already have some initial results from this relationship already. And based on what you've seen, the question then becomes, what is the potential growth after this? You know, so reevaluating a situation where somebody may have done something wrong. Because with justice coming in on their side, this is definitely wanting to correct some issues, accountability. But I say that because you are showing the Seven of Wands. Sorry, guys. You are showing this not so much defensive nature, but look, if you've messed up before, I am not willing to deal with this, and that anymore. Okay, you're being clear on this, especially if they're coming in and they're wanting to apologize, fix some wrongs here, right? Now, the way that you move out of that, though, is you are showing the Emperor, they are showing the Nine of Wands. Now, you know, they may be coming to you and apologizing for some wrongs, but because of the way that you're coming off, I think that they, you know, kind of like are on guard here. You know, and I say that because you're moving into the Emperor, you know, and I don't think that, you know, but here's the thing. This is kind of how I look at this. If you've been through some bullshit with this person in the past, it would make sense that you're showing the Emperor, especially with the Seven of Wands coming in before that. Oh my God, my sinuses. I'm so sorry, you guys. But anyway, you're not going to allow them to have control anymore. That's how I look at this. Given the fact that there needs to be some fairness and balance because of past issues, okay? But because of that, they're being a little bit, you know, on guard here. They're the ones that are being more defensive, I think, than you. They're kind of like building up the wall. Like, you know, but what did you expect, though? You know, and that's kind of how I see this. Now, coming out of that, you have the Ten of Wands. Everything that is happening here is still weighing on you. And it's not that you're carrying a bunch of baggage, but, you know, if you continue to hang on to it, yeah, you will be. But it's not like external baggage. It has to do with, you know, what has already happened. You know, but you're reevaluating things. They're looking at it like, you know, this is a new beginning. It's realistic. I want continued growth. You know, it's here. Right? But what they may have done in the past may still be weighing on you. So it's going to be up to you here with the Magician to decide whether or not you can make something happen here. Can you make this growth happen? Can you make this growth continue? Especially if there's still some bullshit disagreements going on between the two of you. But the thing is if you continue to hold on to the past, right? Because that's kind of how I see this here. If you continue to hang on to all of this, you know, it's going to continue to cause arguments, okay? Because they're the ones that are looking at this as a new beginning. But like, I get it though. Like, I get it. I understand, you know, depending on what it is that they've done in the past, because with justice coming in, man, you know, yeah, you've done some wrong. There's going to be a need for some serious fairness and balance if you're even going to consider moving forward. But the thing is with the Empress, you know, I look at that as a potential outcome here and think that definitely there is happiness. There's happiness to be had. But, you know, for some of you, right, like with the Empress, this could be like, you know, what is being put on you here is the potential pregnancy being involved, you know, them needing to kind of look at that and go, okay, we need to have a new beginning here, right? Which is possible for some of you. Yeah, it's there, but, you know, you guys just are not seeing a way forward to this. All right. Now, when we're talking about, you know, you have the potential to make something happen here, and with the Empress coming out, you know, it's whether or not here you are comfortable with this. You're comfortable with starting something new with this person, given what has happened in the past, and I think that this is the issue right here. You were patiently waiting for them to get the fuck over themselves. And I'm sorry, but I don't know how else to put that. With the Seven of Cups, it's like You knew what the right choice was. Why didn't you make it before? Now you're wanting to come and fix this while you were patiently waiting for them to figure it out. And I think for you, there's like a break. There's a break here. Now, with the King of Wands, right, it may be that they're, you know, being a little bit more smart about where the passions are leading them, right? This may be the person you're dealing with here. Male, female, fire sign, doesn't matter to me. But with the Four of Swords, there's definitely a break in communication because there's a lot of misunderstanding here. You know, but that may be because of what was happening before. Now, the Ace of Cups is definitely there, so there is a new opportunity, but it's based on what you think the potential growth is going to be. But with the Eight of Swords, there's really no way forward. And for them, I think that they're looking at it like there's nothing else that I can do here. Like, I feel like they're looking at it from a perspective of, I'm trying, but, you know, how do we move forward? How do we move forward from this and get to this Ace of Cups? But it's in your court. These beginnings are up to you. This is up to you on whether or not you want to make this happen. You know, but like, I get it. Like, I get it. If this was the issue from the past, you know, it would make sense that there's like some hostility for you, and this may still be weighing on you, especially if, you know, there is now a pregnancy involved, which, you know, may be the case for some of you. Okay. All right. Here, my problem is looking at release your ex. Okay. Now, for some of you, if you're looking to move on to a new relationship, absolutely, you're going to have to let go of your ex. Now, if this is involving your ex, you know, there may be some things that you need to release about the past involving them. Okay, but we'll see here. So coming into this, you're showing the King of Cups. Now, this could be the person you're dealing with, male, female, water sign, doesn't matter to me. Okay, but this is romance. There's romance happening here, and somebody is putting themselves out there. They're wanting that attention. They're wanting that romance. It could be them doing this to you. Okay. Now, moving into strength and death. This is, you know, needing to hold on to your strength here because this situation may have been over with, or there are some things that have really severely changed within the relationship that you can't go back. You can't go back once the relationship has been changed. You know, but again, with death, right, you're talking about an ending. But you can't... You know, things have changed so much that it's not going to go back to the way that it was. You know, but for some reason, like if this is your ex, it's just, you know, you can't release that. That may be the energy that you're needing to clear out. You can't go back to the past. We need to go through the changes, the transformation, whatever. But somebody is definitely putting themselves out there, and they're, you know, wanting to have this connection with you, with the King of Cups being attached to this. Now, moving out of this, you have the Ace of Pentacles. This, in this deck, is a new beginning, absolutely. But this is more than just physical attraction and being overly emotional. This is, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to go the long haul, right? But with the Ace of Swords here, trust may be an issue. With the Ace of Swords, we're talking about needing to trust each other, right? Needing to have clarity on things. And then the Hermit, yeah, you're going to have to take some time to kind of think about this and think about, you know, where the relationship has been and what you want to actually have happen here or make happen. All right. Coming in with the Ace of Wands, they're definitely putting themselves out there, right? And again, fertility seems to be showing up with you guys. What the hell? But with the Ace of Wands, right, it is the physical passion, you know, trying to walk away from the past. You know, especially with death being there, right? But there's definitely that physical connection. There's a new start that's happening here, and it's because somebody's putting themselves out there. But there is a level of romance, emotional connection, attachment, right? Now, for you, the reason why you're needing to hold on to strength and death here is because if this is the person that you're dealing with, and again, right, like male, female, doesn't matter to me, water, fire. But with the Queen of Wands, you're talking about somebody who is just kind of freely like giving themselves wherever. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I get from this. Like, she's okay with getting attention from multiple different people. And that may be, you know, what needs to change, or, you know, what has like changed for you in the way that you look at this, and you may not want to get involved further because of this, or because of the way that they act. you know, something about that, it's not going to change, or you can't change the way that you perceive them. You know, and that may be where you're needing to kind of clear that energy out, because there is definitely a new beginning. But like I said, with the Hermit, it's like you need to focus on, you know, what you've already experienced, what you can't let go of in the way that they are, in their personality. There may be a lot of physical attraction here, but, you know, if they're, you know, like a free spirit, so to speak, that may be an issue for you. You know, but they're definitely putting themselves out there, I think, for you. You know, but there are some things that, you know, I don't think that you can reconcile, so to speak, here. You know, especially if trust is an issue, you know. And with the Hermit being there, like I said, it's like you can make anything you want happen in your love life. But if you're looking back on everything you've experienced, do you really want that flame to be started again? You know, I think that you do. And I think that you have. But continuing it further than this and going to long lasting is something that I don't think that you're kind of ready to consider because of possible trust issues. And the Four of Swords. Cap. All right. Sorry about that, Capricorn. I'm just going on and on and on. It's not even recording. You would think that after 2 years, I would start paying attention to my battery. Anyway. For couples, finances, and career. Now, I think that with the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Swords here, this is fairly new for some of you, a fairly new relationship. I think for some of you, I mean, you know, with the Knight of Cups, you're talking about like an encounter. I almost feel like this is like a chance encounter for some of you. But it's good, right? But with the Knight of Swords, this could be you or the other person here feeling like you have conquered this relationship. Now, where you move into with the World and the Four of Wands, you know, this is the complete relationship, the one that makes you feel complete, right? Things are good. And with the Four of Wands, you're having a blast, you're having fun. But where you move out to, somebody is getting lazy with the Seven of Pentacles. And then with the Four of Swords, it's like there's difficulty in making the connection now because somebody is not really putting forth any effort. Right now, if you're allowing somebody else to have control over the relationship, things may be good for a little bit, but where you move into, like I said, it becomes a little bit difficult. Yeah, things get a little bit uncomfortable here. And I think that for some of you, it's not that, I don't think that your partner here is like keeping secrets from you or anything like that. If anything, you know, for you, you may be keeping it from them. Now, when you're looking at judgment, you're talking about stagnation in a relationship here and, you know, needing to kind of get rid of that type of energy, right? And getting all of that cleared up. And I don't think that this is where the relationship kicks off. I think that this is kind of how relationships have been for you before, because I feel like this is fairly new for some of you. Now, like I said, with the High Priestess, I think that this is you kind of keeping this because you move into this place with the Eight of Swords where things become uncomfortable. And it's because it's like it's lost its fun. It's lost this type of feeling here, you know, and it may be due to finances and career. It could be because of you. It could be from the other person here. You can flip the script on this. But what I see happening coming out with this relationship is, you know, somebody just loses the want to do anything here, but then every time that they try to make a connection, you know, somebody else is like, no, I'm not comfortable with this. You know, I can't force myself to do this anymore. But yet some of you may be continuing to deal with this type of a relationship because, you know, there's a lot of fun here, right? But, you know, somebody's being lazy, somebody's not comfortable, and it's because there are things that are probably being kept hidden in terms of the way that you're feeling, they're feeling. But like I said, I don't think that this is like deceptive secrets or anything like that.